This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Great. Okay, this is the annual meeting of the Friends of the Manhan Rail Trail. It is 7:01 p.m., October 21st, 2024. The meeting is now officially called to order. Welcome, everybody, and everybody here and everybody remote cyberspace. Just a few business items, and then we'll get to talk about trail projects and what have you. And as always, suggestions and questions are always welcome. The introduction of the board is, hi. So our current treasurer is Barbara LaBombard. If you can just wave to anybody who doesn't know you. David Jaffe is our current secretary. And I am the current president. My name is Wendy Hammerly. And our current directors are John Bader, Don Lucido, Elizabeth Sturgeon, Lisa, and you guys can all raise your hands, and Ralph Sturgeon, who is stepping down this year. He's, Liz, I don't know if Ralph was there, but he's been a board of director for many years, and he is just a great wealth of information on bike safety and rules and regulations. And Ralph, we really appreciate all your years of participating and being kind of there for us with our many questions and helping out through all the fundraisers and what have you. So we're sorry to see you step down, but we just want to say thank you for all your contributions.
He just gave you a thumbs up.
Okay, good. So now a call for nominations. If anybody wants to nominate themselves for any positions or someone else, or anybody out there? No? Okay. Assuming that everyone else has agreed to remain on the board. So I have gotten their okays. So do I have a motion from somebody to accept the current slate of officers and directors? So you're going to make the motion. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Secondly, the approval of the 2023 minutes. Has everybody had a chance to look through them? And if so, does anybody have any corrections or changes that they would like to make? They were sent out, I believe. I didn't find anything.
We really already accepted them, but we haven't accepted them.
Technically, right. Not yet. Yeah. So unless anybody has any changes, I would look for someone to make a motion to accept the minutes from the 2023 annual Friends meeting. I have a motion.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. And now the treasurer's report from Barbara.
This is as of like a week or so ago. So there's been a few changes, but basically we're pretty much stable. Our main sources of income are dues, support from the mill owners, the city's financial support. And this year we were lucky enough to get a $10,000 donation, which was a big help. That $10,000 offset the donation that the amount that we're putting towards the Mass Trails grant. So it really kind of helped us stay very stable. This year we did have a few expenses that were different than last year with the trail maps that, we did with Northampton, as well as replacement of the mural letters. I guess mostly that was bought last year, but the work was done this year. Our regular trail maintenance, we mostly pay for mowing, trash removal, you know, small repairs, like we replaced the Lexan on the kiosk and we replaced some fencing this year. We also pay for our trail maintenance worker, Terry, beyond her senior tax work-off hours. So that's why the expenses are more than last year, because we did have a few more, we did have some additional expenses this year. But in the long run, if you look at the bottom, we're a little higher than last year, so we're fairly stable. Our totals are a little down because of our expenses that we had this year, but we're still pretty stable at 45,357.20.
So I noticed our dues are down a little bit.
Well, the reason
Is
that is because
timing?
I have a whole pile that I have not
Okay.
opened the envelopes because I've been busy opening these envelopes.
Yes, okay. All right.
So I have a whole stack of dues
Okay.
that normally I would get to by now, but I just haven't had a chance. So that will be good. We have not received, the mill owner support from one of the mills. I've sent several reminders. Two Eastworks and Mill 180 have both paid, and the third mill has not. So, I sent two reminders, but
Is that a donation or is it
Yep.
a required
yeah,
fee?
they made an agreement quite a few years ago that they would each donate $1,000. So
A year.
a year. So each July I send them out a bill, and usually they pay, but this one mill, I don't know what's going on.
So
It's Keystone. Yep. So,
Just send them another
Yep.
follow-up
yeah,
maybe,
well,
or
if they don't,
give them a buzz.
I'm gonna have to follow up on them. Yeah, what's going on? But, so anyway, our money is pretty much stable. Thanks to that $10,000 donation, we really didn't really go up or down too much. So
What was that donation?
it was a donation of $10,000 that we got from a couple who live in Florida, but also Easthampton. Came through this Vanguard charitable organization. Yeah. When I found out that it was $10,000,
We were surprised.
we were totally unexpected. But,
looking down here on expenses, and it talks about transfer to the city donation account for Mass Trails grant.
Yep.
8,500. Is that 8,500 to just part of it? It's supposed to be total of 10,000 or?
Well, we actually, in the city, we have a donation account, and we had some money in there. We had like about, I don't know, between $1,500 and $2,000. So I took 15 because I didn't know about the 10,000 at that point. I figured we might as well use that because it just sits there. So I with that plus the 8,500, we have 10,000.
Oh, I see.
But that will be reimbursed when we get the 10,000. I mean, that will be.
I've already
Yeah.
deposited the 10,000.
Oh, it's already.
Yep. So we have a money market account and we have a regular checking. So the 10,000, the 8,500 that I took out and the 10,000 that I deposit, that's in our money market account.
Earning interest.
Yeah, I do think that I need to look into, see if there's other places that we can put our money that would earn a little bit more interest. I mean, that basically doesn't earn any interest.
Oh.
So, I mean, I know of places, but whether like a 501c3 can just open up like a Capital One account or something. I don't know. I can do it as an individual, but can I do it as a 501c3? I'm not sure. Just haven't had time to look into that. But that's that. So it didn't come out. The regular checking account is what I use to pay the bills like all the time. And the money market kind of sits aside. So that's what I took the 8,500 and that's what I put the 10,000 back into.
So that you're thinking about the money market is approximately how much?
Well, it is 32,577.
Okay. Yeah, that's worth investing. If we don't have to access it very often.
can we put it in a CD, a short term,
Well,
even a
that's-
3-month CD would be,
Cities have gone up as far as
Yeah.
income.
yeah, they're starting to drop again, but they're, better
More
than
than a
a
money
bank.
market.
Yeah, they are starting to drop a little bit, but yeah. Yeah, that pretty much just kind of sits there. I did pay the trail maps out of that one. You know, when we get things that are unexpected, then I'll take it out.
You need something that's liquid. in case
Yeah.
You have an
Yeah.
expense.
Yeah, we did get, Northampton did pay their half of the trail map. They paid it in 2 parts, but they paid it back, so that was good.
Any other questions or comments about the treasurer's report? Do we have a motion to accept the treasurer's report as given?
Motion to accept.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? No. Okay, just very quickly, and I mean, we're basically speaking to the choir here. Everybody knows the year's highlights, of course, in my opinion, getting this huge grant is the highlight of the year. As we move towards transferring some of the trail maintenance to the city, DPW and Parks and Rec departments. And that money will be used, as everyone knows, to rehabilitate the trail so it's in better shape, so that when we hand the maintenance over, they'll be starting from a better place. The other highlight for me was the outreach, and that included a joint map, which Barbara mentioned with Northampton, and that is now printed and done and in the kiosks. So that was a 2-year project, 2 years plus. So that was important that we accomplished that. And as always, the outreach. So we've got 3 trails that we're staying in touch with or connected with and have liaisons to. And of course, that includes the Mass Central Rail Trail from Northampton to Boston. And then let me get it right, New Haven and Northampton Canal Greenway, from Northampton to New Haven, obviously. And as well, we have someone, I think John Cito is our liaison to Southampton, the Southampton Greenway, which hopefully will be built in the next 2 years, or started construction maybe.
27.
27. Well, we're almost to 25.
Depends on if they've got the land bought yet.
And I'd also like to thank our many volunteers who worked on the trail this year. John, there's a lot of people that mulched and mowed and weeded and trimmed and did a lot of work. And, but we have one special person we'd like to thank this year. And this is Terry, who is our tax write-off worker, but we feel that she went above and beyond just the job, and you did a lot of extra work, and Barbara can speak to that a little bit more. Go ahead, why don't you?
Okay.
And then I'll give her.
All right, so yeah, Terry has been our tax worker for 2021-ish or so. And
2021, yeah.
yeah, and she will be passing the torch on to somebody else next year, but I'm hopeful that she will still continue to want to help. But definitely you've been great, like, and she'll send me pictures and texts and check this out and check this out. And, you know, she's out there painting the shed just yesterday or the day before because we had some graffiti on the shed. Always, you know, and you were out there. Yes, she was leaf blowing too. So, you know, using tractors and weed whackers and paint brushes and everything. I mean, I don't think we could have ever hoped anyone that would do a better job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we have a little,
Oh,
Something for your wall
Thank
and a little
you.
gift. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very much.
I appreciate it. And I have enjoyed working on the rail trail. I think I've told you many times.
That's good.
And I get a lot of praise for those regular people on the rail trail when they see what I do. So, yeah, I felt good about the whole thing. It's a nice job here.
yeah. We do need to figure out if you're still willing to do some work for us. So that'll be something we talk about later.
Or volunteer.
Or volunteer.
Well, the other, I mean, you and I communicate a lot, so you have my information.
Okay.
So you can, when you have the mulching,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I can be
Yeah.
a part of that.
Yeah.
And
And I've really appreciated you helping with the weeding this summer too. And Terry is really the main person behind our Jake the Rock Snake. Worked with some community kids and did a lot of those rocks.
yeah, that was a real fun project.
Well, thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
really appreciate your help.
Thank you.
So my son did a lot of work on that tractor. It needed a lot of work, so it's running out pretty good now, right?
So what?
A tractor?
Yeah, I didn't try it. So is it ready to go?
Oh, yeah, I thought you did because I saw some parts of the trail were blowing off. I don't know who blew it.
Yeah, but I didn't use the tractor. I just used the blower and I
Oh,
walked.
oh,
I
oh.
walk because I like getting exercise, but that's my limit.
That's a
But that's
lot.
my limit from the shed to Coleman and back.
Oh,
That's my
that's a
limit.
lot.
And I like to break it up. Like I can't do both in one day
Turn it
because
around
it's
so
a
it
lot.
propels you.
Because it's a lot. But
That's a lot.
Yeah, it takes 6 hours. It took me 6 hours when I did the whole thing.
oh yeah.
So, yeah.
So I'm just curious, how were the brakes?
Huh?
How were the brakes?
Brakes are, yeah, they're all right. I tested them.
They were good?
They're good before. I don't know about now, but yeah,
So you just drove it and the brakes were good?
yeah.
That's all I need to know because I didn't think they were.
If you have any problems, we'll look at it again, but my son looked at everything.
Uh-huh.
I
And
would-
drove it and
It's got a new
tested,
battery, of
tested the
course.
brakes, right?
With the battery, but no, that wouldn't affect the
No.
brakes at all.
No.
Um,
So the other thing I noticed, and so the last time I was there at the shed, there just were extra screws in that, black box, behind the driver's seat on the tractor
Yeah,
and a plastic piece and a metal piece.
yeah, I don't know. They must be from somewhere inside under the hood there, but I have to have my son look at it. I couldn't figure it out.
All right. Because when I take that, tractor, I mean, I put a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm like, well, what's all this, a little extra stuff?
Take them out and put them aside for now if you need the room.
Maybe I'll, bring a jar or something, or something to keep it all contained together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll ask him about it.
Yeah, I wonder if sometime after the election, if maybe you and the three of us, and maybe your son too, we could meet up at the shed and kind of look through things, and maybe we can do a little cleaning out
Oh,
and
yeah.
reorganize
There's
it.
still got a lot of junk in there we get out.
But I don't know enough about what's in there. I would like it to be, if we could, after November 5th, if we could maybe figure out a time to get together. Hi, Annette.
Hi.
Is
Terry
the
knows where I live.
is the
Oh, yeah.
shed and the equipment owned by the Friends? Where's the shed located?
Where is it located?
It's right up by the public safety complex, right near the Williston parking lot.
Okay, I also want to, in thanking volunteers, I also want to thank again Williston because they do plow every winter a pretty good stretch of the trail in the downtown area, and that's really used by quite a few people, not just the students, but the community enjoys that benefit. So a shout out to Williston. Finally, we've had an uptick, in my opinion, in the emails and the Facebook messages this year. I think it's a good thing. Yes, a lot of people are making suggestions for changes or having concerns or complaints, but that's fine. I think that's good that people are communicating with us, and we always encourage everybody to bring us any issues that they see. We can't always fix everything to everyone's satisfaction, but at least we know about it, and I think that's really important. So I'm really happy about that. Finally, looking to 2025. So next year, just coming soon, I think the big project will be the construction on the trail. So we are going to have to work really hard to communicate any trail closures or detours or whatever might interfere with traffic on the trail to everybody as soon as we get it. So I don't know if there's a way to get
Yeah, I think once things start to roll.
communication with DPW or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, Liz?
Speaking of trail closures, I just saw today on Facebook, or maybe yesterday, that the Friends of Northampton Trails announced that the Northampton Trail from King Street to Look Park is going to be closed for 30 days
Wow.
for paving. And I wondered if they sent out an announcement, and I wonder if we ought to post that on our site as well, since a lot of people will be using both.
I'm on the mailing list. I got it. So
Where did you see that? Was that on
their
Facebook?
I think I got an email. And I may have also seen it on Facebook. But
If you send it to me,
I'll
I'll
send it to you. I've got it.
oh, okay.
I mean, I do get their friends stuff, but I don't remember
Yeah.
seeing.
I think this was an email, but
Okay.
somebody said they're going to send it to Wendy.
Email it or text it.
Email is fine. That would be a little bit easier for me.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Liz.
Yeah, thanks.
When's that
happening?
Oh,
I'd have to go back and read the email. It's soon, but I don't remember the dates.
October 28th.
Okay, thank you.
it is soon. It's next week.
Wow.
What they
And
got the grant money for, I wonder?
Oh,
they did get grant money as well.
yeah.
And I don't know if anybody attended the meeting, the city council meeting virtually. But it did sound like Greg said the contracts are in place for our trail and that if he's looking at early spring for work to begin. So that's really good.
Contractors have already been selected and
Apparently, if the contracts are in place, I think they kind of knew they were gonna
Yeah.
get the match from the city and from us, so. Let's see, and the only other thing looking ahead, I know Barbara mentioned we did clean up some of the smaller map kiosks, but one of my goals is to really tackle that big kiosk right by Union Street. And I know that they're gonna get a map redone or something, but
Oh, right. Evan, yeah, we need to get a big map,
yeah,
a map for our kiosk.
yeah. And it's not just the map, I think we need to redo the backing because it just looks horrible. And
Problem is, I don't know what to put on there. Because we have tried everything and the sun just cooks it. So,
well, even if it's a piece of clean white paper, just, and even if we have to change it every year or whatever,
it's
or
the
cardboard or something.
it's a cork. Yeah. I know.
Or paint it, I don't know. But anyway, we'll have this, I don't know, I
Maybe
guess
we
I
can
would
paint it.
look for somebody, if somebody wanted to volunteer to take the lead on that project,
The
that would be
whole
great.
kiosk, I think, probably could use a coat of varnish or stain or something.
Polyurethane or something. Maybe marine varnish because it's out in the weather.
Just find out what they stained it for.
If there was anything on it.
No?
It's just
Natural.
just
Rich can
natural.
offer his opinion.
Yeah, sun is just,
Yeah, it's right in the sun.
maybe painting the corkboard.
Which do something a little better than it does now. And the last thing, and then I'm absolutely done, is looking ahead for 2025 is to continue to advocate for trail expansion. You know, I know we feel like we've got enough on our plate already, but I think to keep planning ahead to connect to parks and schools and neighborhoods. And I think it's really important that the trail be accessible to as many people as possible. So I don't want that to get lost in all the day-to-day stuff, but that big picture, I think we need to keep that in mind. And that's all I have to say. If anybody has any comments or questions or.
What are the main outlets for neighborhoods? What are you talking about?
There's too many.
Yeah,
A lot of them?
yeah. I mean, there are a lot of neighborhoods that,
There's Park Street they're planning on, right?
right. But I think, you know, you live off of West Street, so, you know, is there a safe way to get from west?
Probably not, because of the
You
road
got
delay.
Glendale, I mean, that's, yeah, it's so, I don't know,
And there was talk about a bridge across the pond to connect New
Right.
City,
right?
which I think people would like to see that, but I don't know if it'll ever happen.
Yeah, 7?
Yeah, I just want to say that I could measure that the space on the kiosk on Union Street like this week and talk to Paul over at the same place where we got the maps done to see, talk to him about brainstorming what would be good for, a large kind of scale map there that would be sun and weather resistant.
If we wouldn't, of course, want it to be the whole, it would probably be like,
Like a quadrant of it.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
want to have room for notices or
Yep.
rule, I don't know, yeah, things.
Yeah, I don't know if laminating helps or, yeah, maybe it just, everything that goes in there just fades like immediately.
Yeah, what I'd imagine is they print on some sort of vinyl, like outdoor sign kind of material.
Yeah, if you can get a quote for us. And that'd
Yeah,
the way
that'd
to
be
go.
great. Yeah,
Thank
do some investigating.
Yeah, I'll brainstorm with them.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments before we close the Friends portion of the meeting and then move to the regular city committee? Okay, do I have a motion to close the meeting? Okay,
Second.
any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, meeting.
All right,
Could you give me your email address so I could
Sure.
send this to
You
you?
want me to write it down?
Yeah, it'd be easier if you did.
all right, so I'm gonna open the regular meeting of the Manhan Rail Trail Committee. We have the minutes that David made up and I sent out with the agenda. Anybody have any comments, corrections, or otherwise? All right, do I have a motion to accept the minutes of the September 23rd meeting?
I'll make a motion.
Second, all in favor? Public speak time. Everybody here. Holden, I think you're like our only public. Do you have anything to say?
Hi everyone. I appreciate it. Well, I guess now you put me on the spot. So I looked at the website and it does look like, at least according to the website, that there's a vacant seat on the Manhan Rail Trail Committee. I'm wondering, I've attended a few of these meetings now. I've lived in Easthampton for about 2.5 years, wanting to get a little more involved in kind of local, local groups like this. I love biking around Easthampton, but I guess I'm wondering, just as far as time commitment, I know there's this meeting that's about once a month, but I'm assuming, from from listening in a few times now, it seems like you all also might meet independently, or there's like a few volunteer events, that kind of thing, but just trying to get a sense of time commitment. And then I looked on the website and it looks like it says you would submit, the form and then a letter of interest. And I didn't know if that letter of interest is just kind of a one pager about why you want to join a committee, or but yeah, any thoughts on time commitment or other things? And I guess if that vacancy is not accurate, that'd be helpful to know too. But
So
thank you.
I can help with some of that. So the vacancy, yes, I think we do have one. So yay, we'd be glad to have you join. Yeah, you can fill in that form on the website and just like a one page, just a little description of why you want to join and whatever. Yep, and then you would submit it to the mayor's office. It may go directly, and then what's going to happen is the mayor will give it to the city council, then the city council will approve it, and then you'll be all set.
And they may interview you, so that's part of the process.
Right, it'll go to the appointment committee and they have meetings and they have lately been loving it when people come and explain why they, and they, well, they usually just meet in person. But they love to have people come and explain why you want to be on a committee.
Okay, and any sense of like time commitment month to month probably changes throughout the year, but beyond like this monthly meeting?
Really, it's mostly just the monthly meeting, but yeah, throughout the year, what we have the mulching party in the spring. We did cultural chaos this year. Other
Setting up to weed.
Yeah, there could be other volunteer stuff but overall, it's not much of it.
Yeah, Holden is another relatively recent member. I'd say it's like part of it is you get out of it what you put into it. So like if you're really passionate about weeding, you could weed for 10 hours a week every week in the summer. But it's the monthly meeting and then maybe like an hour in addition throughout the month, I'd say, except, when there's like the mulching thing, it's a little longer because it's a big project, but yeah, just wanted to put in 2 cents there.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes we have, for lack of a better description, subcommittees where 1 or 2 people will work on a project. For example, Liz and I kind of worked on the map project.
Mm-hmm.
And other people, depending on what your interest is and what your time availability is.
Great, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. I don't really have any new business. Does anybody have any new business that I don't know about?
I have a question for you.
Okay.
It's about the e-bikes and the speed of e-bikes.
Oh, yes.
Anything you can say about that? Because I'm really concerned about that.
Well, it's all set by city ordinance, and there is an ordinance.
Do you know what the speed limit is?
There's no speed limit.
There's no speed limit.
But maybe there
Well,
should be.
there is. The speed limit on electric bicycles in the state, and all the states, pretty much, as far as I know, is 20 miles an hour.
Well,
That's fast, but that's
when I'm still and I'm doing something out there, oh yeah, that's fast.
fast.
That's fast. But I'd say there's some that go much faster than that.
Probably. Some of these electric bikes, they can be made to run without pedaling. They're supposed to supposed to have to pedal. That's the state law.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take much jury rigging to get it to where you can just ride like a motorcycle.
So
And they'll fly.
yeah, I was talking to a regular, he's got a new e-bike. He told me his top speed can be 48 miles an hour. He said though, but he says he does not do that on the rail trail. And I believe him from talking to him that he doesn't. And he passed me the other day. He could have been going 20 miles an hour, but when I'm standing still there, oh yeah, it looks like you are flying.
We've seen the same young man go by a few times, and he is really moving, and it's kind of more than I don't know if it's a bike or a
It looks like a
motorcycle.
It looks like an electric motorcycle. I know who you're
And
talking about.
He
I've
is
seen him several times
flying,
also.
no helmet,
Yeah.
and I actually tried to yell to him, slow down, but I think we should have a conversation with the police department and see if they can.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's no enforcement.
There's no enforcement. Yeah, and
My other thought
But
was,
it's not safe. It's not safe.
It's
my other
not.
thought was to post, because I had seen in Northampton, they were posting some of the inexpensive signs that you can stick in the ground
Mhm.
with trail related messages. I'm wondering if doing that in a couple of spots intermittently and maybe moving them around here and there just to say, is your e-bike legal for the trail? And maybe you could even have a code where they can go to the ordinance so that they know what, and just sort of mind your speed and all the things that we talk about in terms of trail etiquette, just to periodically put it in people's heads.
Yeah.
Because I think otherwise they're just in their own zone.
well, maybe since the next meeting is kind of a quiet one, maybe we should see if we can have one of the police officers come.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Yeah, and that might
We
be
might
because
have an idea.
otherwise there's got to be some enforcement. I mean, I can see if like maybe even just one, they can just come and, because I think it should be kind of a quiet meeting and maybe we can just see what they say.
I've given this a lot of thought and I have an electric bike myself. And I've seen how this fellow you're talking about, I've seen him several times flying through here. He's got a backpack and
Yep.
it looks like he's gone commuting probably to work
Yeah.
or something. And I tried to follow him one time. I couldn't keep up with him. But he's somewhere west of Union Street. I'm not sure where he goes. It's some neighborhood, I guess. But the Northampton city, I think either the city of Northampton or the Friends have set a speed limit for 20 miles an hour on the trails. But that's too fast. In my opinion, it's inside the city limits, it ought to be 15.
Yeah, but the problem is, if nobody's gonna enforce it, you could have it be 10
Well, and
miles
how
an
many
hour.
bikes have speedometers?
A lot of them.
But I think a lot of them don't.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think it's more about encouraging safe practices on the trail rather than sort of
Yeah,
preaching the letter of the law. Because I don't think people necessarily know, and I think if they're just mindful to sort of, like for another thing, I would think for a sign like, please announce when passing pedestrians or something like, because all the time somebody just zips by you,
Right.
and unannounced, and like a little etiquette.
I always do that. And people appreciate it. They tell me, thank you.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
We also
I
don't
do
wanna
too.
have a lot of signs on the trail,
Well, no,
especially in the
but-
mowing strips.
But again, like judiciously placed intermittently so that people don't begin to tune them out, but just as a way to sort of get people a little more
People who are
self-aware.
driving very fast are not reading signs.
Like
Yeah,
that,
we kind of had this conversation when we were doing the reprint of the maps too, of like, should we have added something in there? And I remember from that, there was a gray area of like, can we actually like legally do it, like have a speed limit just as us? But also there was the thing of like enforcement and like, how do you enforce it? And another big takeaway from that conversation I remember was that people who are speeding probably don't care that they're speeding. And that, putting it in the trail map or if we do these signs probably isn't going to change much. But that was just, we had a very similar conversation when we were doing the maps. So I wanted to bring that up.
I don't think that we can't, as a committee, just put up a sign with any kind of speed limit. It would, unless it's in the city ordinances.
Right.
We can't do anything about that. There are guidelines in city ordinances about what kind of e-bikes are allowed, and it's pretty extensive. They had a lot of talk about it.
Where is that available? Is it available online?
Yep. There's a whole section on bicycles in the city ordinance. And there's a section on e-bikes of the Manhan Rail Trail and what's allowed. So, and they did update it not that long ago.
The police department doesn't actually have a bike for a police officer here, do they?
They used to. There were bike patrols
There
many
used
years
to
ago.
be.
Remember
They
that?
have regular bikes.
Maybe 15 years ago.
Nothing recently.
But nothing recently.
Oh.
They did get bikes, but
Northampton still does.
And
They
then,
do.
and then I'm kind of wondering in a way, like, okay, we're heading into November and, it's probably something that, next spring. I mean, I know these people, if it's open, they're
They're
gonna
gonna
be
go.
on it. But
unless it's snowing.
If they're using it for commuting, they're gonna brave the weather too.
Yeah.
so, I mean, we can wait and talk to the police department, or we don't have to. Whatever anybody thinks, I can.
I think it's worth a conversation. They might have an idea that we don't.
I think we should put it on their radar. I think it would also be helpful to know if they have knowledge of any incidents that have occurred that we're not aware of, or, where there were complaints to them and we never heard about it, just to sort of
Right.
share some information and also just sort of stress that, a number of people do have concerns about the high rate of speed of some bicycles and they should be mindful of that.
I think it's worth a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. I'll ask if I'll see if anybody's available next meeting, and if not, probably January's, because we won't meet in December. All right, thanks, Jerry. As far as we talked about the trails grant update, you kind of know that's kind of in the maintenance. Anything else, Terry or John, that we should know about as far as the trail maintenance? There was a little graffiti on the shed. Terry took care of that.
Right. And actually, I saw that same graffiti was also done on the back of Philip Manufacturing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they're starting back there again.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, that's too bad.
Yeah, I actually was gonna call them and just see if they knew it or not, that it was starting again. So I didn't know, I mentioned to you about the mice problem
Oh, yeah.
in the shed. If we should be doing something about that. What do you think, John?
Huh?
What do you think? Mice
There's
problem
mice in the shed.
in the shed?
A what?
Mice.
Get some peppermint oil and some cinnamon oil. Grandpa
Wow.
Gus makes great stuff. I've been dealing with this in my house for a year now and it's working. Every day I spray under my
So what is it? Cinnamon?
cinnamon oil and peppermint oil. They hate the smell. If they smell that, they will leave. Okay, they will, or they won't come in, I should say.
So how often do you have to do it, though?
I do under my cabinets every day.
Oh, that's
Well, hey, believe me, it's my kitchen. I don't
You
want it in
have-
my
yeah.
kitchen.
Oh, yeah, you have
In my
to.
garage, I spray maybe once a week, just around the edges, you know, just, it works. It does work. You just have to, they do make pouches. They make little, round canisters. You can set those up and that works. They just don't like the smell. If they smell their own, a mouse's urine, they'll stay. But if they smell the peppermint and cinnamon, they won't. Yeah.
There's another product that works for, at least it works for chipmunks. I assume it works for rats or mice. It is these dryer sheets that have a strong fragrance. We put that in my daughter's camper, which is parked at our house, put them all over the place, 2 years, and they have never once gotten it. And that's really cheap. Real
Yeah, I
simple
mean,
to do.
the smell, they have to be deterred by the smell, but yeah.
We certainly could buy some strong smelling dryer sheets and put them in
Yeah.
the cabinet.
Yeah. Do we actually know the name of that product?
Any dryer sheet, isn't it?
No, I heard it's not just anyone.
Bounce.
It may be Bounce, but I'm not sure. I'll have to do some
Bet you
research.
could Google it.
You know, you can go to, Easthampton
looking for
Feed and they
my
have the
daughter,
stuff,
she'll
the smelly stuff to keep them.
Yeah.
But they have pouches, they have little canisters, they have all kinds of, believe me, I've been working on this for a year. And it works.
Is it mostly in the cabinet?
Well, I said that roll of paper towels. They were really going to
Oh,
town
yeah,
with
they're
that roll
making
of
a
paper
nest.
towels.
Nesting material.
Nesting
Yeah.
material.
Yeah.
I had the same
Oh,
issue.
yeah, it's,
They totaled my car.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I had them in my
That's
car.
right.
They didn't
That's right.
total my car, but I had them, several of my neighbors, they had
Oh,
it
really?
a month, they didn't have their car.
Now I spray like around
Yeah.
the tires
Yep.
and
Yep.
the engine.
My neighbor leaves a light on with their hood open so that they,
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, it's fun. I was catching them. I was catching them in humane traps,
Yeah.
releasing them, and they were saying, she's got peanut butter. And they came back, so I stopped catching them, and now I just spray. Yeah. It works. It's a pain, but, as long as they stay out of my kitchen.
don't- I
Cellar
don't
and
take care
garage, I
of
know they're always gonna be in there at some point, but,
Yeah, not in my house.
Yeah, not in the
Not my
house.
house.
Okay, they put them in a bag and stuff.
No, we just put out traps.
Yeah.
I don't do it, but
I
it works.
also
Can't put it on.
yeah, it's a catch and
That's where I
release,
catch
but
it every
they all
time
tell
it's
their
there.
friends. I mean, I
Peanut
would
butter
catch
on
them,
the traps.
release them in my neighbor's shed or whatever, garage, and next day they'd be back.
in a jiff.
What?
Yeah, in a jiff, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I just want
Make
to
sure that joke goes in the minutes.
my other concern is the amount of graffiti. It's like you cover it up and eventually it comes back again. It's like endless.
No,
It's the mice.
there were some time periods where there was so much that the police department did get involved with
Right.
it, but
Yeah, they've taken a
seems-
couple of reports here and there. I mean, it's
They
often
have.
the same people with the same kind of signature, so.
Actually, there's one that it's Steve. He puts his name, Steve. Yeah. He was on the Iron Bridge there by Lovefield.
Oh,
That's
I
hard
mean,
to get to.
yeah, I think if you saw a lot and it was looked distinctive, and then sometimes it goes beyond the bike path and then because,
Behind the mills,
Right.
it's often on the buildings there too.
yeah,
Right.
so they do like to know about that because they do follow up on it.
Take photos and
Yep.
And I have in the past. Yeah.
forward it to whomever.
Yeah.
Police department.
Okay, we have no upcoming events. And I think our next meeting, we kind of had already picked a date. It's November 18th.
Yep.
Is that right? Yes. Okay. And I say we give ourselves December off. Sound good?
Sound good?
All right. Anything else? All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Adjourn.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. See you November 18th, and I'll reach out to the police department.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.